let's talk about the 4090 and 4080 that just got announced. So they're expensive. They're a little bit more expensive. I think $100 each more expensive than their prior generation counterparts. For me, that's in line with inflation, so I don't see that as that big of a deal. Some people are freaking out, but like the 3090, I believe was $1,500. The 3080 was $799. So for me, like the $100 increase is about in line with what I would expect with supply shortages, chip manufacturing issues, and then also inflation globally going crazy. So that doesn't shock me that much. NVIDIA says the 4090 and 4080 deliver 2 to 4 times performance increases over the 3090 Ti and the 3080 Ti. That's insane.
Hope all's well, my man. Keep on keeping on.
Will do. Keep on keeping on. Will do. Appreciate you. Little Death Stranding reference for you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the sub, my friend. 3 months. You're on your way. The fact they compare to the 3090 Ti and the 3080 Ti is pretty impressive to me, because they could compare it to the 3080 and the 3090 and leave it there. But instead, they're comparing it to the better versions of each. That's pretty ballsy. You know, that's impressive to me. It's the opposite of what Apple does. Apple is like, look, we did a 20% increase in chip performance over this phone from 5 years ago, but they sneak it in the fine print so you think that it's over last year when in reality it's not. You know, little stuff like that. The company is unleashing the, let's see, first of NVIDIA's next generation cards arrives on the 12th of October, the 4090, but it comes with an obscenely high price tag of $1,599. The company is then unleashing the 4080 in November through 2 models, a 16 gigabyte model that'll go for $1,199 and a 12 gig version that'll start at $899, but features a decrease in the number of total CUDA cores. Not that big of a deal unless you're like rendering stuff and you're working creative workloads. For gaming, that's not a big deal. And for gaming, you don't need 24 gigs or 16 gigs unless you're gaming at like 8K, in which case, like, you know, you can afford the 4090, let's be real. So they put out some charts and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, the 4080 will cost $200. Okay, I stand corrected. $200 more than the original 3080. And the 4090 will cost $100 more. So I guess the 3080 was $699. Yeah. Okay. Now, out of this, they show some stuff. The total processing power of Ada is a massive leap over the Ampere generation, and the performance shows. And Jensen did the presentation. He's always present for these big reveals, which is cool to see. And I mean, you look at this. This is performance to power. Ampere at 350 watts. Ada goes to 450. And I mean, look at that. Jesus. That's insane. It is one thing people have been saying. This thing is like apparently it basically uses the same amount of power as a small microwave. Like, but it does that for extended periods of time. Most people, like, to upgrade to this graphics card will need to also upgrade their PSU. That's insane. That's crazy. So it's a little wild, but I mean, you can just see the difference in what they're saying in terms of basic rasterization. For rasterized games, Ada is up to 2 times faster, and it's 4 times faster for ray traced games. Ada is incredibly efficient, over twice the performance of the same power compared to Ampere, and you can really push Ada. We've overclocked Ada past 3 gigahertz in our labs. That's insane. Graphics cards don't normally run anywhere near like that. You can see CUDA core is 7680, the 4080 is 9728, the 4090 has 16384. Yeah, compared to, like, this is what I'm running, 8960 or 8704. That's crazy. They also introduced DLSS 3.0, which generates entirely new frames without processing the graphics pipeline, boosting game performance up to 4 times over brute force rendering. Over 35 games and apps plan to add DLSS 3 support to the first with the first game set to arrive in the next month. Like, this thing, basically all that means right now, how DLSS 2 works, which Wide Plumberman, you just came from the Cyberpunk video. Appreciate you coming by the way. For this, how it works is DLSS renders the frame at a low resolution. So say it just renders at like 720p, and then it upscales that frame to 1080 or to 1440 or 4K, whatever it's doing. And it uses that machine learning to accurately scale it up and contextual clues and information with the game, blah, blah, blah. What DLSS 3 claims to do, and apparently what they're doing, is generating entirely new frames between the frames that are rendered, which can lead to crazy performance improvements because it uses AI to just guess what the next frame would be so that your GPU has plenty of time to render the next frame, which is crazy. So what they're showing, like with this Microsoft Flight Simulator, 67 frames with DLSS off, 134. That's crazy. Right now, you would probably, with DLSS 2, see it go to like maybe 90 frames from here. With like Cyberpunk, without DLSS turned on, rendering natively, we're getting like maybe say 20 frames. With DLSS turned on, we're at like 58 to 60. Much better, but still not great. With this thing, they're saying that you could reasonably see it go up to like 90 to 120 frames just with that. So, or this is RTX and DLSS. So bear in mind, this is like no ray tracing and DLSS off. This is with DLSS on and ray tracing on. So a double whammy. Jeez. Multiply your performance with AI. Yeah, for real. So the base performance is at 100. That's what the light green bars are. And then when you turn DLSS on, you can see the overall improvements. And I don't know if this is a matter of optimization or if this is like, I don't know what the difference is between this level of performance increase versus this one. I don't know. But I mean, you can see for most, like the lowest level they're saying is that it doubles the performance. That's crazy. So we'll see. Apparently, if DLSS 3 is the big thing that it claims to be, it's a big deal. I want to know how it works for, like, in terms of input lag, if it's usable in like shooters and stuff, or if that just doesn't work at all and you just can't swing that. I don't know.